Welcome back to Retail Therapy on the Sunday Scaries podcast. My name's Will DeFries. Co-host Barrett Dudley. Barrett, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing all right. Just living in a new world this week. It's a Barbie world, as it were. And that's the one that I currently reside in. I don't know if you know this about me, but I saw it this past weekend. So, yeah, it's something you should just know about me.
Was this a Sunday night movie?
Barbie.
Was this a Sunday night movie for you?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Sunday evening movie. Draft House officially has one of my favorite pizzas in the city back on their menu. It's the Brussels sprouts, bacon, and goat cheese pizza. It's fully on there. It's listed in the main. It's in the main pizza section. It's not just like maybe they sometimes have it in the extras.
Barrett, unfortunately,
there's no better way to spend a Sunday evening.
Unfortunately, Barrett, it's in the bylaws of Retail Therapy that your favorite pizza can never be from a movie theater. And so, unfortunately, we have to have you take that back.
I said one of. It is not my favorite, but it's good. It's good.
I can hear our New York listeners unsubscribing right now.
Yeah. No. I think the New Yorkers would quite enjoy this movie theater pizza. It's all about the crust, am I right? And it's nice and it's crunchy. It's got a bite, but it's not cardboard. You know what I mean?
Well, being that most people listen to this podcast on Sunday.
But yeah, catch me on Mr. P right now. Just scrolling the pink section.
Is it a good Sunday movie?
Oh, it's an excellent Sunday movie.
Okay. It's not going to give me some kind of existential dread about being a white male who has just ruined the lives of so many women out there, like inadvertently.
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just making sure.
No, I would be lying if I said I was shocked at that take because the movie does say the word patriarchy a bunch of times, and it is.
Well, so does Succession, but I don't think that did anything.
It's a very feminist movie, like in its kind of messaging and its story, but like it never says like dudes are bad.
We are.
You know what I mean?
We are
like
sometimes.
It's a really weird. It's very strange takes that are out there, but expected ones.
Do you think that if Barbie came out earlier in the summer, that we would see more pink around this summer? I'm a little worried that it's so late in the summer now that people aren't going to be buying their pink stuff or wearing it at a rapid clip.
So, not to gas myself up here,
mm-hmm.
One of the last episodes of Club Cool that Phil and I did,
mm-hmm.
so sometime in 2021, I believe.
Okay.
We talked Barbiecore.
Okay.
Like it was already a bubbling trend.
Yeah.
Kim K, Megan Fox, MGK, like there was a lot of like the hot pink happening.
Yeah.
And it was coinciding with like early kind of murmurs about this movie, Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling getting cast. There were famously like the TMZ or the paparazzi polls,
mm-hmm.
like while they were doing the skating scenes, like in Venice Beach. Like on the boardwalk. So the hot pink thing has kind of been happening for a little while. Now, I mean,
and of course there's ballet core that, so many people
naturally
leaned into.
Here's the thing. I was kind of like just, goofing, like pulling up Mr. Porter's pink section, but there's a shitload of it. And it is, there's everything from just kind of like clean cut linen shirts to like insane Celine satin bomber jackets and Amiri cardigans.
Dude, don't ruin my wish list item for today. Get the Celine get the $3,000 Celine varsity jacket off.
How about this massive Montclair puffer, right? In like a blazing hot pink. So
I already think Montclair puffers are pointless. A blazing hot pink one just makes my skin just like crawl.
So I do think, and that's page 1 of, what does that say, 4?
Mm-hmm.
So like I think, and pop onto Revolve one time for me. Like you're gonna see like a full like Barbiecore or hot pink hit list or hot list or whatever they call them. And so it's I do see what you're saying. Like I think maybe if this had dropped in May, you would have seen more
mm-hmm.
hot pink throughout the summer. You and I were out at a buzzing spot this past weekend. We saw some hot pink out there for opening weekend of Barbie. So it's definitely something that I could see kind of coasting and we might be seeing more of it out there through the remainder of summer. But I hear what you're saying. I do think that maybe it could have been like a full-on summer trend had this movie come out a month earlier. If
you had to guess, if you had to say between these two, what is driving people dressing up for movies? Would you say that this is because of the buzz surrounding both of these movies, Oppenheimer and Barbie, and just kind of how they each elevated each other? I think the phrase is a rising tide lifts all ships.
Sure.
Or would you say that this is people just finally getting out and, really spreading their wings after being locked down and just watching stuff on their little, their little 65-inch television screens at home?
So what I'm going to connect this to is the Harry Styles and the Taylor Swift concerts.
Okay.
Which are both fully fledged, like they have elevated themselves beyond your typical concert experience, right? I saw a headline on some news program. Taylor Swift's Eras Tour is injecting $4 billion into the U.S. economy.
I believe it. After going to the Dead shows last week, I read something that they had I think it was $40 million that they put into that concert alone put $40 million into that San Francisco economy that desperately needed an injection.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of reports of people out there thanking, people for coming in, being like, I wouldn't have gotten the hours if it wasn't for these concerts, things like that. And so I absolutely love seeing this.
Yeah. So there's just like this, I think there is this post-pandemic sense of people want to eventize things more. And when there's a good opportunity for it, whether it's a massive pop star coming through your town and putting on what amounts to more than a concert, but like a true full-on event, or when two movies that are not sequels, not superhero based, and there's a shitload of buzz about them, and there are memes, and there's a whole Barbenheimer, tide rising, like you just said, I think people are just inspired to make the most of it, and it adds a layer of fun to what you are about to go do, right? And I think that we're in the streaming era, right, where it's so easy to just put on your PJs and sit on the couch and pause the movie 18 times and look at your phone and do all of that.
I don't pause at home, Barrett. I don't pause at home.
You treat it like the theater?
I mean, I don't treat it like a theater, but I don't. If I have to pause more than 2 times during the movie, you kind of get the okay. Are we gonna watch? Are we watching this?
Yes,
what are we doing here? Are we just gonna
totally?
Yeah. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But that being said, ever since having Fritz, going to the movie theater is just like a no go.
Yeah.
Because paying for a babysitter to go see a movie,
right? When you can just do that on your couch.
It's become one of the dumbest expenses for me. And now I'm kind of at the point where I'm really jealous that all these people can just go and see Oppenheimer at 10:30 at night because they don't have any worries.
Well, so I mean, I think Oppenheimer is a good example. Like which movie are you? Well, maybe it's not a good example, but the dressing up, the Barbie core of it all, the fact that the movie has so much hype, is doing so well, has such massive stars, it probably is. You are probably closer to seeing that movie, to taking that trip, to getting the babysitter to go see Barbie than you have been in some time.
Yeah,
I would imagine,
for sure.
You know
for
what
sure.
I mean?
And for a long, and I'm more ready now than I will be for a very long time.
Yeah. So, and Oppenheimer to a similar degree, I think, is just that is a movie that you want to see in a theater, and it's about something that is interesting and meaningful rather than two dudes in spandex punching each other in the face.
Yeah, no offense to Dune or anything, but I'm not getting a babysitter to go see Dune in a theater, even though I bet it's awesome in a theater.
Yeah, let's leave Dune out of it.
Yeah, I'm not just as I don't want to go. I don't want to pay $60 to a babysitter to go see Dune.
Yeah,
that has no relevance to me outside of a fictitious thing in my head. Right. Whereas I do kind of want to see Dune or Dune 2 or however many Dunes there are. But it's just one of those things. It's is that what they're calling it?
No.
That'd be a bad name for it. I wouldn't be impressed with that.
I guess it would just be Tune.
I gotta support Chalamet.
I botched that. It's just Tune. What?
I gotta support Chalamet.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He didn't die in the first one or anything. I'm spoiling it for myself.
No.
He is in the movie, right?
He is in the movie.
Okay, it got real silent in here.
Although
really quick.
it got silent because honestly, Will, I was having flashbacks to one of the trailers that precedes Barbie.
Okay,
which is his star turn in Wonka.
Yeah,
I've never been less interested in a movie.
I'll see it. I don't know. I was a big Roald Dahl kid. Do you not mess with Roald Dahl when you were a little kid?
You mean Roald Dahl?
I don't know. Dude, anyone who knows how to say that is better than me because it just sounds like you have a piece of gum in your mouth.
BFG was my all-time favorite book.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I liked them all. There was really none that I was asking to not read. It was pretty much the only stuff I enjoyed opening.
Yeah. No, Dahl is goated for sure.
That's facts. Hey, while we're on the topic of children, I think this is kind of a perfect time to talk about a recently new sponsor of ours, KiwiCo.
Man.
Okay. So when I was little, Barrett, my parents were very good about traveling. we had the luxury of doing that. And when I was very young, my parents took me over to London, and it was a trip that I can look back on now and say that it shaped a lot of my life. Not only did I just get really interested in that, in just London and England as a place, but I think it stuck with me for long enough that it's shaped several of my interests today. Whether it's my fervor for the English Premier League, or whether it's I don't know, me just wanting to dress ladcore. Maybe we'll even talk about that later today with a New Balance Stone Island release from this morning. But KiwiCo is doing everything they can to help immerse our kids into something like this. Summer's a season brimming with wonder, curiosity, and thirst for discovery, and you can foster your kids' curiosity with KiwiCo Atlas Crate, a monthly educational adventure that sparks a love for learning. Each crate transports children into fascinating countries, cultures, and landmarks, opening their eyes to wonders of the globe. And when you sign up for Atlas Crate, KiwiCo delivers crates packed with hands-on projects, engaging activities, and fascinating stories that transport your child to different corners of the globe. They have several of these. One of them that I think is very good that I need to do with Fritz is the Japan crate, where you can actually make one of those traditional windsock fluttering carp fish.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, that just sounds like something I want in his nursery or bedroom in general. They also have a Peru crate right now where you can make an alpaca. Just expand the horizons out here, okay? You can unlock monthly discoveries. They have a world of exploration with their the monthly subscription. So each month, like I said, they will get a new adventure discovering fascinating countries and cultures. It's just cool. And as a parent myself, I can say it's great to get things in the mail that you don't have to go specifically order, because sometimes you just forget and you just don't know what's happening. It's nice to have that subscription going. And it's just kind of an endless thing for you. If you're ready to take on the world, explore hands-on projects that help your child develop an appreciation for other world cultures. Get 50% off your first month plus free shipping at kiwico.com/atlas, promo code SCARIES. That's 50% off your first month at kiwico.com/atlas, promo code SCARIES.
Got to keep those kids cultured, man.
You got to, dude.
Yeah.
When you were a kid, I mean, this happened in every single classroom in elementary school. I'm going to ask Randy this question too. I think Randy's going to have a good answer. They would always let you choose a country to do like a project on, or it'd be like, all right, like everyone can choose one thing. Like, did you have a country that you defaulted to?
Yeah, I think I did, but I'm trying to remember what it was. My gut is telling me that it was the Czech Republic or Czechoslovakia.
Okay,
because that's the most interesting piece of heritage that I have.
Okay. I feel like everyone was slightly shaped by their heritage.
Like, my great grandmother came over on a boat from Czechoslovakia.
Okay,
basically.
Okay,
so that's that I feel like that was mine.
What was yours? Oh, I'm sorry. You should be up.
I'll vamp while Randy figures out his mic. People say that I look very Czechoslovakian.
Really?
No.
I was going to say, I don't. That's not a trait that I associate with people, so it's difficult for me to know. But yeah, mine was weirdly enough what we just talked about in the read. I liked Peru a lot because I liked Machu Picchu, and so I'd always try to go Peru.
So I assume you're claiming here that you're a big Anglophile. Can you tell me the difference between the United Kingdom, Great Britain, and England?
No. Like, could I maybe try to describe it to you in a way that might make sense to some people? Yes. Would I get certain things incorrect and just open myself up to criticism? Yes. Yeah. So I'm not going to do that. Yeah. I also think it's a never changing dynamic. I mean, we got parts of Scotland wanting to join Norway right now, which is kind of a vibe if I'm being honest.
Yeah. That's definitely a shifting one.
Those two combining into something, that sounds kind of chill and pretty, if I'm being honest. Randy, do we have your microphone solved over here?
No. Okay. Shout it out to us. Just tell us.
Yeah, Poland, he said Poland. That was going to be my guess for you. You've got a lot of Poland, you right? Yeah. Well, we've got a major. We should have just done an entire.
Randy just took the walk to Poland.
Yeah. We've got we almost did an emergency podcast last week because I almost just called us all into the room together because so many people reached out regarding this article. I don't know if I'm vindicated. I don't know if I'm like exposing myself. I don't really know anything about this at this point. I don't know which way's up in the world of martinis. But the New York Times published an article about martinis that is really just kind of confirming some things that we've talked about earlier on this year, if I'm being honest. And the headline of this was, "The Martini has lost its mind." It says, ordering a dirty martini these days doesn't guarantee gin, vermouth, or even an olive, but you might get squid ink or a mozzarella ball. And what this really just says is that maybe we're taking these things too far. Maybe we don't need to make a chicken broth martinis.
I'm just going to play devil's advocate here,
Okay.
right quick. Not that because I'm not sure. I don't necessarily disagree, but what's also happening, right, is that the martini is just the perfect vessel to essentially make whatever cocktail you want.
Okay. Okay.
If you have an idea for a flavor for a cocktail, I don't think there's anything easier to start with than ice cold vodka and a little bit of dry vermouth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just a good base layer, as it were, to put things on top of. Now the gin is different because gin is really strong and flavorful and has all sorts of things like sloe and juniper and various botanicals, right? So it's a little bit weirder when it's a gin martini, and then you're like piling stuff on top of it.
Yeah.
And you like get into like the aggro Bloody Mary zone.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I don't need a cheeseburger on top of my Bloody Mary.
Correct.
So,
Correct. Oh, that's a good. I might need to workshop it a little bit, but like I kind of like the idea that martinis are going the way of the Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
Where we're just simply doing too much.
Yeah. I mean, now if it's a smash burger on top of a Bloody Mary,
Stop
that's
it.
a different. It's a
Stop
different thing.
it,
It's
dude.
totally a different thing.
Did you?
But-
I take it you saw. I mean, the joke that you just made is based off a conversation that Barrett and I have had about smash burgers before.
Yeah.
But there are some people out there who probably follow Nolita Dirtbag and
Yeah.
saw the recent post about smash burgers, which could not have been more on the nose for the conversation that you and I had, literally the night before.
But frankly, the Nolita post just made me want the made in griddle and press even more.
You have to get it, Barrett.
You know,
Just
I really
get
gotta get. You know why I don't? You know why I don't have it yet? Because Made In is a local company that I feel like we have connections to. And look, I'm holding out for the bag. There's no reason we're talking about them for free right now, and we probably shouldn't be, because there's zero reason that Made In shouldn't hop in and sponsor this pod.
I literally had a conversation at our party with the founder of the company about doing a party at their location, Barrett. We can get you a free smash burger set.
I feel like I can get the smash burger set, and then I will make content around making smash burgers. And trust me, Made In, that is worth more than the $200.
Our friend Jake over here, he was on the program, Barrett. He's on this very feed if you want to go learn about Made In. He's a great guy.
All right.
Well, I have isolated out each martini that they have discussed in this column, of which there were a lot more than I thought. I will get ahead of this and say that this might be an all-time bad pronunciation episode for me.
Ooh, okay.
There are some words in here that I have seen on menus before, but maybe I don't know how to say them. Maybe I stumble through them as the waiter's standing there, and I hope that they just know that I'm talking about, the first word of the order. Or maybe people are just simply too polite to correct me. But we're going to give it our best today.
Okay.
Shall we start?
Let's start.
The first one in the article is the chicken soup martini. While they don't explain what this is, I'm going to assume that there's some type of broth in this.
It's chicken, I believe.
Oh,
yeah, you botched that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The chicken the chicken pronunciation's always been difficult on me.
Yeah.
This one kind of looks like it's got a chicken soup vibe to it. It appears to have maybe a pickled carrot on the toothpick with some olive oil droppings there. I don't really know. I will say that maybe it's the pescatarian in me. I don't think I need to drink a chicken-based alcoholic drink.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. There's a non-starter in this drink for me, and we may have talked about this already. If there are oil globules in my martini, I am out. I am out on that martini.
Some of y'all out there got to stop making your blue cheese olive martinis with the stuff from the olive bar and the olive oil. It's not what we're doing out here, people. Us as retail therapy listeners. If you're in the cult of retail therapy, we do not mess with olive oil in our alcoholic drinks now.
It's not for me. It's not for me. I don't want to taste like. I don't want to feel like I'm drinking like fat.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this makes me think.
I don't like the change in consistency when it hits your mouth. It's
so
weird.
These little dots of the olive oil in here, it's a pass for me.
I'm passing on the chicken soup martini.
I think what people seem to be doing is just going like, oh, if it's salty, I should be able to make a martini out of it. And that's false.
We're not doing Campbell's soup martinis. It's not necessary. There's gonna be some hip bar in some part of New York that I'm not familiar with, and they're gonna serve it out of a Campbell's can.
Bed-Stuy, probably.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Or they're gonna have the Campbell's cans from the martinis, and they're gonna serve beer, like draft beers in those. Should we just open a bar? We're cooking right now.
Yeah, genius.
We have the oyster. I don't even know how to say this word.
Mignonette.
Mignonette. Okay. I would have guessed that, but I didn't want to go in confidently and sound like an idiot. Martini. An oyster mignonette martini at Mars, served with an East Coast oyster on the side. So this was actually in their post on Instagram, but they did not include the photo on the article, Barrett.
Okay.
This looks pretty delightful. It appears as though this martini is served with some oyster juice inside of it. And then I think that there are 3 small cocktail onions across the top of it. And then a very, very good looking oyster that is kind of put in the on the side on a small bed of ice. It's a great presentation, I have to say.
Yeah, this. Let's see. Was it just New York Times?
Yeah, but they post
Instagram?
about a million times a day,
They
so I
do,
kind of hung
they
you out
do.
to dry here.
That's
Here,
okay.
I'll if you want to give me your take on it, I'll toss this in
Well,
here.
here's
for
what
you.
I was going to say. This one doesn't scream martini that's lost its mind. This screams like an actual use of a martini, and I think I've
I agree.
seen stuff like this at Perla's or Clark's here in Austin.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, they have something that's like an oyster shooter, which is kind of similar. It's like it is like an oyster with a little bit of vodka or Bloody Mary mix or something like that. But this one sounds like something that I would enjoy, and I think that's probably because I feel like I've seen it on menus before, maybe even tasted something similar. And I mean, right, like martinis and oysters go together like peanut butter and jelly. So
Yeah. That's why people
this one kind of
wanted to put my head on a stake when I said that they were out.
They were out, yeah.
But so I'm a little confused because my take on martinis being out were that I was tired of people ordering dirty martinis, and I was kind of touting that there were so many other different kinds of martinis out there that people could be drinking. And now we're finding ourselves with the vibe shifting against me almost by saying that there's too many martinis. So I don't know whether I love this hate against the other martinis or I hate the hate. As long as there's hate, maybe I'm happy.
Yeah,
I'm a hater
you,
deep down.
you don't need a backpedal on it.
Okay.
Look, like there's only so many times that we can see something on Instagram, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And right, just as the smash burger is making its way to that zenith, I think the oysters and the martinis, did as well.
Not only would I drink this, I would order 2 of them. Like, I'm not opposed to doing this. I love a martini with a sidecar. If you ever have a little extra coin, let's say maybe you get a Christmas bonus and you want to go to Jeffrey's in Austin, Texas, you can go get a martini from their martini cart there, and they serve it with a little one hitter of some caviar on the side, and it's a very, very fun experience. It's overpriced. It's tough pill to swallow, but it is it's a nice experience if you want to overspend on a cocktail. I've only done it twice. I've only done it once in the last 7 years.
All right, here we go. Here's the Perla's menu right here. And on their raw bar is a classic oyster shooter, which is vodka, horseradish, bloody mix, and lime. And that comes with an oyster like in the shot glass with all that stuff.
Have you done this?
I have done this.
I've done it too. Did you like it?
I did.
Do you rush to do it every time you go there?
No.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I'm open to doing, if someone at the table says, should we do these? And it's late enough in the day, I will do it.
It's a $12 shot that has an oyster in it. It's not
kind
like
of fun.
it's like a fun, to do on a hair. But
see, now you're making me I'm like wanting to go down every oyster bar menu like ever, just because I feel like every oyster bar has something like this and it's not that big a deal.
Yes.
Have you ever been, you're a Charleston boy, right?
I've been to Charleston.
Have you been to the Darling Oyster Bar in Charleston?
Yes, I have.
It's very aesthetically pleasing. I had the absolute pleasure of watching Texas beat USC while at a wedding there.
Yeah.
From there, and I just had an all-around great time at the bar itself. And I'm on their menu now trying to see. I'm not seeing anything outright with any oyster juice in it, but I did have them doing something like that. Maybe I was mistaken.
We got sat at what I'm pretty sure was the worst table in the entire restaurant.
Love that for you. Love that journey for you.
And so I didn't have the greatest experience.
But
the main part of the restaurant with all the good tables and the beautiful bar, that looked really nice.
See, we sat at the bar and had a nice nice 2-seater on the corner.
Yeah.
So which was a nice seat. And then they opened up an entire section of the restaurant to us to just have free reign while we watched the Texas game, and it was just 3 of us with about 10 seats to choose from.
If you are ever in doubt, I just had a similar experience this past weekend at a spot that I won't mention it yet. But I was on Resi. Okay. This is a conversation that we need to put a pin in. So I won't go too deep into the insanity of of talk and resi and open table yet.
No, we're doing
because this.
We need to do that segment.
Yeah.
I've been overthinking this segment, and I think about it all the time about all the apps out there.
But I suddenly have the choice between bar, lounge, and table, and I'm frozen in fear to make the wrong decision. And I'm Googling photos, and I'm on Yelp, and I'm like trying to get like a bird's eye view of the restaurant. Like I feel like I need a blueprint to look down on so I can make the best decision. Of course I make the wrong one because when you're petrified with the with the fright like that, that's what you do. And I need to remind myself that the bar is almost never a bad idea.
Unless I would say for two people.
For two. Yes.
For two, yes.
Naturally.
I agree.
But if you're ever like in a pinch and you don't know what to choose, I feel like the bar is the safest option.
If I had to rank, I would go table, bar, outside.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think for like a traditional restaurant, that's probably right.
Yeah.
Like inside table, bar, patio.
Yeah.
But this was not totally a traditional restaurant. So I'll leave
excited
it
for this podcast to end so I can get the full exposure.
I'll save it for our future conversation on reservation apps. But we can proceed. What's next on the list?
Pickle martini. The martini at Albert's in New York swaps the traditional olive brine for spicy pickle juice. I would absolutely do this. This isn't that crazy.
Again, this is a pickleback.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't do picklebacks.
Vodka and pickle juice.
I don't do picklebacks famously. I think that they could possibly ruin pickles for me if I do one in the wrong situation, if I've had too much to drink, if one doesn't sit well. So I've officially retired. I would do one single pickle martini before the waiter comes around again and I say, you know what, I'll just do a normal martini this time. But I liked it. I liked it. I'll just do a normal one this time. But for me, this is a lot about the garnish. If it's I need to know I need to have a good garnished pickle on here. If the pickle on as a garnish is not a good tasting pickle, we're going to run into a big problem here, and the entire thing is pointless.
Do you buy pickles at the grocery store?
I'm a pickle bar boy.
You go pickle bar. You don't go.
Well, I'm a pickle snob. I'm a dill pickle snob.
Uh-huh.
I don't mess with sweet pickles. So if you want to talk sweet pickles, go knock on someone else's door. But I'm very much a dill pickle snob. If I have to go straight up in like a jar. Like your classic, blue collar pickle. I'm going Clausen.
Yes.
They're crunchy every single time.
Okay, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
I recently bought a jar of Clausens for a recipe I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to have a jar of Clausens in the fridge.
Dude, so crunchy.
Yeah.
So crunchy. Yeah. But based on the grocery store I go to, I'm pretty much a pickle bar boy. I'm paying that $11.99 per pound. It's a brutal thing to do, but they're so good there.
Yeah.
We have the Caprese Martini. Basil-infused balsamic dotted Caprese Martini at Jackson Bond. I'm not doing this, Barrett.
Jackson Bond, speaking of famously, isn't this the place that I feel like 4 or 5 cocktails that we've talked about on here have originated at Jackson Bond?
Do we need to go there? Do we need to go to the homeland? Should we have gone there?
Is this the pasta water martini spot?
Maybe. No, I think the pasta water martini spot might have been in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
Am I crazy for thinking that?
Jackson Bond has definitely been mentioned on this podcast before.
It has. Yeah. Maybe we should we just, if it sounds like they're just making up drinks as they go, should we just stop in there and be like, can you guys make, like, we talk about your drinks all the time. Can you just make us one?
So, yeah. Again, Caprese, this is too food heavy for me.
I don't like infused vodkas.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not saying, I'm not anti overall. It's just not for me. Sometimes I feel like it's just a tough thing to do. And I feel like a basil infused vodka doesn't do much for me. I think I'd rather have the scent of a basil thing instead of the actual flavor.
Yeah. That's a good call.
You slap the basil like you do the mint before you do something?
Yeah, you got to slap it a basil.
You got to slap it the
basil. The caption on the photo here says it's the most popular drink on the menu.
I simply don't believe that.
I don't either.
There's no way that's the most popular drink.
Yeah.
No one likes tomatoes are so unpopular that I refuse to believe that people are ordering a drink with the tomato in it. It's just not happening.
How about this radish water martini?
At Naro.
Who was talking about radishes this past weekend?
Was
it
it
Dave?
Dave was talking
Dave's
radishes.
Not a radish boy.
He doesn't like radishes.
Now, this is one that I would be interested in trying because I do like a radish.
I have to admit, Barrett, I love a radish.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. I don't care if it's just your regular radish. I don't care if it's a watermelon radish. I'll do any radishes.
Catch me on a crudité plate, like snatching the radishes.
Like
that's low key the move right
yes,
there.
100%. Yeah. Like you guys can have the flavorless bell peppers, but I'm going for these radishes and I'm dipping them in this hummus and this green goddess dressing.
A little spice, a little heat to them,
Yeah, you have
snap.
to do it. I love it. Yeah, Sally and I went through a big radish phase for a while. We were just making radish salads and stuff, like just eating way too much radish. I think I would do this. It doesn't explain what this one is, but I would assume that much like the pasta water martini, you just use water that's been soaked with radishes.
Essentially an infusion.
It
right?
kind of sounds interesting to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. It can't have too much of a bite to it, right? I feel like it would almost be a little,
floral or something.
yeah, like it would. It's giving floral. Is it? I would at least try this. Like this would get my attention on the menu, and it would be hard for. I would ask the waiter, like, "So what's up with this radish martini?"
Yeah. I'd check this one out. Yeah.
The next one's one that I think I'm gonna have trouble with, for numerous reasons. The more that I read about it, it's the squid ink martini at the American Express Centurion Lounge. Who did American Express need to talk to get their squid ink martini at the Centurion Lounge in this article? There's no way that someone's just like sourcing for this article and going to the Centurion Lounge.
Yeah. This I don't like this. Speaking of things giving, this is just giving airport, and like squid ink and airport don't go together for me.
Can you imagine a scenario where maybe it gets ahead of you a little bit? Like, you know how like sometimes in airports you drink a little too much and you're like, "Ooh, I probably didn't need that last 32-ounce Sam Adams from this random bar." Like, what if you're boarding the plane and you see someone you know and your mouth is just covered in squid ink, like red wine, and you're like, "Oh, sorry."
Just a full on like coating of like black kind of gunky liquid. By the way, I love a squid ink pasta.
I don't.
But
it freaks me out.
But this again, we're going so food heavy with these that it's reminding me of the Bloody Mary thing.
You don't need it.
Allow me to humble brag here. I was recently in an American Centurion Lounge in an airport, the Hong Kong airport.
Dust your shoulders off,
which you think would be really nice, right?
Yeah.
Like, doesn't that sound like a fancy little place?
Yeah, it seems like that would be a big hub that people would go to. Seems like it would just be massive.
Like it would be nice, like plush leather couches everywhere, like just like feeling yourself. Cocktail.
And what airport was this in?
Hong Kong.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a massive airport, as you might expect. It was not like that. That in fact, it had tile floors that were just for some reason, just like my shoes kept sticking to them.
Ooh.
It's not like the floors were sticky, but they were.
It's
also
giving men's bathroom.
And it was not a place where I would, if I saw a squid ink martini on the menu at this particular American Express Centurion Lounge, like I couldn't say no fast enough.
Correct.
So
also, I just don't know
this.
I don't on principle alone. I don't pay for drinks at the Centurion Lounge. Like they have free drinks that you can just get, or they have drinks you can pay for. And given the fact that like I refuse to pay additional money on top of the membership fee of American Express, and then give them additional money,
right? Yes,
to do that. Sometimes they even make you like before I got Sally a card, they made her pay to get in every time, even though she had one of my cards that said my name on it.
Did they really?
Yes.
That seems.
I never actually let her pay. I was always like, well, we're just simply not going to go. It's way cheaper for me to go to PF Chang's over here.
Panda Express, you know? I'll bet they'll make you a squid ink martini.
I don't know if that's squid ink.
Maybe Jack's on Bond can do their own squid ink martini, and then we're probably talking.
Obviously, I'm drinking one at Jack's on Bond. Yeah. You know, we've got the seaweed
muscadet.
At Este in Austin, Texas, you can order a martini made with muscadet wine and kombu seaweed.
I think Laura's actually going to be at Este tonight.
Dude, you have to get her to get one. We need her review of the seaweed martini.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this one?
I don't know. I'm having a hard time, getting a feel for what muscadet tastes like, and so I'm not sure. I like seaweed. Again, this is just we are going down the list of things that are salty, and people are like, "Yeah, make that a martini."
I just
make
don't.
That a martini.
I don't like seaweed at this point.
Okay.
I'll eat it with sushi because there are so many competing flavors that it kind of just sits in the background.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. But even now, if I had my way at a sushi restaurant, I'm not touching seaweed the entire time we're there, just because I've grown to hate the flavor. I don't know why.
Okay. You're a sashimi boy.
I'm very much a sashimi boy, and so I really don't like to lean into this at all. It just freaks me out.
Yeah, this is probably a pass. How about the habanero mezcal at Dear Madison in Chicago?
See, this is interesting.
Now aren't we just into margarita territory?
That was my exact question. Once we start going into Mexican martinis and mezcal and things like that, once we get away from the gin and from the The vodka, I feel like we're in an entirely different category here. This says that, yeah, mezcal, lime juice. This is a margarita. This is an up margarita, my friend.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just move on from this one. Pepperoncini martini.
Okay, now I'm actually interested to see this one on the list because no, at least once I have sat at the house after polishing off a jar of pepperoncinis, looked down at the juice and been like,
Barrett.
I wonder if I could make a quote unquote dirty martini with this. But instead of the olive brine, it's the pepperoncini.
You have to do it. I'll do it.
I like pepperoncinis, and it feels like the flavor is subtle enough to where this might actually work out.
I like that you can probably control it a lot, so you can control the spice level, control the bite of it. I would absolutely do this. I'm not a huge pepperoncini person. I don't like them enough to buy on my own, like you do. But I could be convinced if we had a recipe to use them for to make some martinis with this after.
Okay.
What about pickled fennel and yuzu?
Fennel and yuzu. So yuzu, that's like a Japanese lemon. I'm pretty sure.
I think
you usually get it in like a sweeter drink.
Maybe
Fennel, obviously, like a very licoricey flavoring in Italian food. Generally,
let's pickle it.
Cannot imagine how those two are going together.
What if you pickled it though?
Yeah.
I'm not doing this one. I don't think. I feel like yuzu is a flavor that doesn't totally jive with my palate every time. Like I feel like there's sometimes where I'm like, oh, I remember now. I don't love it. We've got the Opov martini. What are you looking at right now? You're freaking me out.
Well, Opov.
However you fucking say
I think
it.
that's probably
exhausting.
Right. This is a steak topping. Am I right? Right? Like, doesn't steak normally come au poivre?
Yeah.
And I want to say it's like creamy, maybe mushroomy. And it kind of makes me want to throw up a little bit.
It's pepper steak. It consists of steak, traditionally a fillet coated in coarsely cracked peppercorns. And the peppercorns form a crust on the steak when cooked that provide a pungent counterpoint to the beef.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm thinking of something else then. Au poivre is just the crusted pepper.
No. I think it also has to do with the sauce. I think it's more the sauce.
Okay, there is a sauce
of the peppercorn. Yeah,
which is a creamy.
It's from the drippings, heavy cream, cognac, and drippings from the meat.
No, again, okay. So now I'm back to wanting to throw up a little bit. Please, no creamy peppercorn in my martini.
I have had pepper vodka. I've only had it in a Bloody Mary, and it was good because that makes sense. I would try it. But it totally depends on what the rest of this, like they don't go into this enough. Maybe we should have just gone on the LaRock website and Rockefeller Center in order to look this up. But this just strikes me as something that's just going to be a little too rich.
Well, one time in high school, it was probably like junior or senior year. I had a little get together at my house while my parents were away, and we crashed the liquor cabinet as teenagers are wont to do.
Very cool.
And the only thing that we could get our hands on that particular evening was Absolute Pepper. And let me tell you what, it didn't go well.
The boys had to have talked about that night for a long time. How did you even get down that road?
I don't remember.
Was it the only thing open? Was it the only thing?
I think we were in pursuit of, a clear liquor. Right, like we wanted vodka. Like this was not at a point where I only had one friend that was just like, I'll drink the Dewar's white label. You know what I mean? Like that was like psycho shit to us. This. I think we were deep in our Bacardi Bacardi Cocoa phase.
Yeah. Yeah,
just really at the entry point to the whole world of
I was a big Bacardi O guy.
Bacardi O, yes.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed the Bacardi O.
And so I think we were striking out on just finding like regular vodka, and so the absolute Pepper, it got pulled out, and
no,
nobody liked it.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
not surprised.
Yeah.
Would you say the boys that night would have enjoyed from Albert's in Midtown, a washed with sushi rice martini?
That probably would have gone over slightly better.
Do we need to explain that I would absolutely do this? Like I would absolutely like if you wash anything with sushi rice, I'll try it.
Yeah,
again, I'm not opposed.
This feels like a subtle flavor that like maybe adds more than it takes away.
I would go as far to say that this might sound the most appetizing to me.
Okay,
just a hint, small hint, and then at the Little Ned in Nomad, garnished with a ball of mozzarella martini. Wow, this seems unnecessary, and this is also giving olive oil to me, which I'm not doing.
Again, yeah. If there's no olive oil in sight, I don't hate having a little bite of cheese next to the martini, right?
Correct.
But again, no oil in here.
I don't
or
need I
on
don't
that.
need a ball of mozzarella dragging itself through the martini as it sloshes back and forth in the
That-
hand of the waiter or waitress. Like it's just not a
yeah,
necessary thing for me.
that's yes.
Before we get to our next thing, I do have something that's tangentially related to these martinis. Before we get there, I do want to talk about our friends over at Squarespace because today's podcast is sponsored by Squarespace. I love Squarespace. I got an alert the other day that said I started Scaries 10 years ago. When I started it, I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I didn't know how to grow it. I didn't know where to go with it. But when I saw Squarespace as a platform that I could use in order to build the website, it all just made sense. It was very, very aesthetically pleasing. It was easy to edit. I knew that I could sell things on the site. I knew that I could collect emails through the site. I knew that I could blog through it. I knew that there were so many things that the site itself was capable of that I just knew it would make my life a lot easier. And so I went and found a template. I souped it all up. I started blogging. I started getting email addresses from people. I started sending emails out. I was just loving it, Barrett. And I was making tweaks on the site all the time. I got so obsessed with making tweaks design-wise on the site that I just fell in love with Squarespace. You guys can tell when I do the reads how much I actually love the product. It's just been something that's been very convenient for me in life. It's been something that has made my life a lot better. It's just a great overall service. It's just great.
I've got like 6 Squarespace tabs open right now.
Mhm.
Trying to make a wedding website. How about
Let's
that?
go.
Yeah.
That's how, I mean, when I made a wedding website that I never actually used because we decided to get married earlier, I used Squarespace. When scariesmetsally.com might still be available, it might still lead somewhere,
Wow.
but I think I might have ended that
Yeah.
that domain registration. But you can also register domains through it. It makes it very easy to start the
It
website,
does.
make a domain name, and just get linked right to it. Barrett, if you haven't already done it with your Squarespace stuff, head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/scaries to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
I sure will.
It's time. I'm not trying to sit here. I'm not trying to make some grand proclamation. I'm not trying to say that these are the only 3 drinks that we can talk about here. I'm just simply starting the conversation because I think it's getting to the point where we're going to have to make a decision sooner than later.
I mean, yeah.
I'm of course talking about the drink of the summer.
Right.
I've assembled a short list of drinks that I've identified, that I have separated out from the masses, that I'd like to bring to the table as my short list currently. I'm not saying this list is going to be the only list to the end of the summer. I might put something else on there, Barrett. I might replace all 3 of these with 3 different ones if August goes as well as I want it to.
Wow. Yeah.
The 3 drinks that I have on the short list currently. Randy, start playing the really intense orchestral music, please. The White Negroni, which you and I kind of dubbed as our early contender.
It was. Yep.
An Americano, which has turned into my most indulged in cocktail of the year so far. And finally, a drink that we have talked about before and a drink that is really kind of catching some legs on the internet, if I'm being honest, the Hugo Spritz. Do you have any drinks that you'd like to add to this short list right now, Barrett?
I don't. Based on my own personal imbibing and then the buzz that I'm hearing out there, I think that these are good choices. I will say I feel like the Americano is the Americano is holding up a lot of weight. It's got a big burden on its shoulders because it's representing for what honestly this may end up being the choice because it's kind of right. It's carrying the flag for all low ABV beverages.
It really is.
You know what I mean?
It really is.
So it's doing a lot of work.
I have been making so many Americanos lately for several reasons. One of the reasons is that it is low ABV, so it's not something I need to have a huge commitment to. Another thing is that I've recently gotten in the mail through an ad deal that we're doing with a company that's very on brand for Sunday Scaries and retail therapy called Lo-Fi. They're a vermouth company.
Okay.
And they reached out to us. I've already been kind of interested in sweet vermouth. It's not something I was super well versed in. And when I started realizing that I needed a bottle to make Americanos with the Campari, they reached out at a really opportune time because I think they actually listen to retail therapy and they sent us a box of it. And I've been making all my Americanos with the sweet vermouth from Lo-Fi. And I have to say, I've drank a lot of stuff with Campari. This has been my favorite thing to drink.
Okay.
The Americano with the just regular Campari and the Lo-Fi sweet vermouth. It has hit really well for me. I'm also just putting a ton of orange in there. Just squeezing that fresh orange in there and just feeling real tropical, real Italian coast.
Sure.
Have you seen articles on the Hugo Spritz? I've been seeing more and more articles pop up, but I also think that my Hugo Spritz radar is always on.
Right. No, this feels. I've not necessarily seen articles. Maybe one. But it definitely feels buzzy as far as the word of mouth goes and what people are talking about. And then, as everybody knows, in this summer of 2023, which I think we can fully say is like the first true, real, all the way back summer.
Hmm.
And so, the summer of Europe has been just more in our faces than ever.
Dude.
Literally, everybody is in Italy at the moment,
Amalfi,
or maybe
Saint-Tropez,
the south of France, or
Ibiza.
as somebody also noted, Japan seems huge right
Dude,
now.
Mykonos big right now.
Greece, of course.
I mean, it's always big, but like
Yes,
I feel like
right.
I'm seeing more and more people in Mykonos.
But everybody is just out there, and so I know that the Hugo Spritz is probably here as the Americano is representing low ABV beverages. It feels like the Hugo Spritz is representing Europe summer, right, and Europe core even. Here's my problem with the Hugo Spritz and why I'm ranking it number 3 out of these first 3. I've yet to see it on the menu.
It's fair.
So
I haven't either. I haven't either.
Larry Maguire is not so taken by this thing that he has suddenly gone and added it to the menu.
Sammy's needs to have this as their
Clark's
featured cocktail.
Or Sammy's or Pecan Street Cafe.
If you're in Austin for a bachelor party and you want to have a really good time, I've never been, but I assume that the Sammy's lunch on Friday with the live jazz band is a really good time.
Yeah.
And I have to imagine that a Hugo Spritz would do really well in that situation, especially during the heat of the summer.
Yeah. But I need this to kind of bubble up into the consciousness of mainstream city restaurants. Because so far I haven't even had the opportunity to drink a Hugo Spritz.
Wow.
And maybe that's just on me for not spending more time on the Amalfi Coast.
Don't blame yourself, dude. Don't blame yourself.
But I just haven't been, and that's something that I have to live with.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I did go to Sammy's the other night, Barrett, and I did order a white Negroni at the recommendation of you.
Yeah.
I got the exact same talk that I got that you received.
Yep.
And they ended up making what I would consider to be a very good cocktail.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
I ended up having 2 of them, and I was very happy with them. So thank you to Sammy's and the entire wait staff there. You continue to impress. I got an email today, earlier today, from a listener. And it is an article from the Wall Street Journal. And it's kind of touches on something that we talked about last time. During your wish list, when we yielded to you for your wish list last time, you talked about people sending you some recommendations for shorts.
Yeah.
And the Wall Street Journal has taken your shorts request, and it's kind of just started talking about man pre-summer, how men's shorts got so long. Hate that they're trying to make man pre a thing. Can't put those syllables together and not think of something else sometimes. Also, like man pre just doesn't. It's not Capri and man pre. They don't sound similar enough. We're just not. I'm not doing this.
Right.
Just want to get ahead of that.
Okay.
Essentially, what they're saying is, men's style is evolving at such a rapid clip that, big shorts are now in. After a few years ago, it was all the short shorts kind of thing. Like, I mean, a lot of people these days are still wearing a lot of short shorts. And they interviewed several people in here, from people who own stores to designers to one of the guys from the Throwing Fits podcast was interviewed for this article talking about it. And I don't really know where I fall. Being a 36-year-old father of 1 and soon to be 2, I don't feel as though I can take that many liberties when it comes to wearing giant baggy shorts. I feel like I'll get some weird looks at like soccer practice if I show up wearing like borderline Jinko shorts. But at the same time, like I don't want to just show up looking like a total dork to these like younger cool dads.
Yeah.
Or if there's any like with it moms that are like reading fashion blogs and stuff, I don't want them looking over at me being like, that guy's a nerd.
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to clue all of our listeners into something right now. This is the equivalent of, let's say, 3 to 4 years ago, when New York Times, Wall Street Journal, and GQ, I am quite positive, I could pull them up, I'm pretty sure, had articles about quilting in a vintage Americana Bodie-esque aesthetic coming out.
Okay.
Fast forward 3 to 4 years, and now we're inundated with it, and it is a true wave, right? Like that everybody knows about and everybody wants to participate about. This is this is early. Like this is what they do, right? Like they gotta show their cred by understanding what is happening, on the streets of New York and on Stefan Diggs and on the legs of podcasters, right? That's where the baggy shorts is happening. But the baggy shorts is not trickling down or happening in any type of mainstream yet. So this is super early. Like if you are on the edgiest of the edges, then yeah, maybe you're pulling off some insane Issey Miyake or whatever, or Jinkos even, or maybe you cut off a pair of Dickies 874s like 4 inches below the knee, and you're going crazy punk with it, right?
No,
Um,
I go on Mr. Porter and I go to the short section and I sort by inseam and I start with the 20-inch inseams and I work my way down.
or if you're Larry from Throwing Fits, then you're breaking out your collection of like vintage double pleated polo Ralph Lauren shorts
Yeah. Yeah.
that have that 11-inch inseam.
Mhm. Mhm.
But
There
like,
are some shorts in this article, some photos in this article that I think have more added up inseam than what I have in my closet, like combined.
between all of your shorts,
Yes.
yeah.
I did get the Bodie shorts from the Nordstrom deal, and I have to say that those are definitely the shorts that I have that skew closest to this.
Yeah.
While they are not, but they're
And they're not- but
they're
they're
more
not long.
voluminous.
They're
Yeah.
voluminous. Yes.
Yeah, they're more just have a giant leg opening, which is weird to get used to, as opposed to a length that's weird to get used to.
Yeah.
And
I think,
but the giant leg opening for me is not prohibitive at this point. I actually kind of like it. It's kind of comfortable.
it's very comfortable. It's the blousey is good, and I think that's why I do think that my guess is that just like as the trend winds kind of like headed into each other, we were finding that like shorter shorts, which generally are smaller and tighter, were kind of like fighting with the baggier, more voluminous pants that everybody was already wearing.
Mhm.
And so the shorts suddenly had to like match the pants a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because it's weird, right? It's kind of, it feels dissonant to have like really short trim shorts, but then all your pants are baggy now.
Mhm.
And so I feel like that's what pushed this ahead a little bit. And suddenly like, really long shorts are kind of back in vogue. But you see the lead picture here with Stephon Diggs, who looks, he looks tight, right? But he's also kind of doing a thing that women are big on right now, which is the tiny top, big bottoms.
I can't pull
thing.
that off.
And that's not, that's because it's hard for dudes to pull off.
I look crazy.
It's much harder for guys to pull off.
I'm worried I'm accidentally doing it by
Right?
getting voluminous bottoms
And
and not
gonna
big
look,
enough
yeah,
tops.
yeah, no, it's very like it's a little too. It's like a little too fashiony. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's never gonna feel totally right on us, I think, without looking capital F fashion. So that's one of the weird things about it. But I think kind of to the Bodie shorts point, I think where we'll see this go mainstream is just in the loosening up of the silhouettes overall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not necessarily like I don't think Babenzine at J. Crew is going to like launch like a 12-inch inseam next year.
No.
He might, but I do expect like some baggier pleated shorts
They'll launch
that
one.
that are maybe 7 or 8 inches.
They'll launch one.
Yeah.
And if it takes off and it starts going crazy, then they'll figure out more. But yeah, I mean, at this point, I feel like the shorts, the world of shorts is very wild, wild west. I don't really know where everything falls. I think there was a good point made about how if you do rock the 5-inch, you are going to skew frat star.
Little preppier.
But I also think it all comes down to styling too. Like if you have a 5-inch inseam and you like, no one's gonna be watching Call Me by Your Name with Chalamet and Armie Hammer and be like, damn, oh, these dudes are so frat because they have short shorts on. Like, no. Like,
Right.
They're wearing blousey shirts and got this Euro style. They're doing just fine.
Shorts are also, I mean, they're so time and place dependent, right? Like God forbid you're in these things near any body of water, right?
Yeah.
Or in any hot summer vacation destination. You will look insane.
I'm not trying to put
Right.
more fabric on my body as the temperature maintains over 100 degrees in Texas.
Yeah.
So
I will. So because last week's wishlist edition for me was more of a request and a search that I was on. Many people, or at least a couple of people, mentioned Abercrombie's shorts, especially of the linen variety. So I'll shout those out. And then I came across these, which is from a brand that I've never heard of. It's called in all capital letters. It's called WAO. The only place that I could find it was on Forward, the higher end sister site to Revolve.
okay.
But I quite like these because they look a little dressy. But
Could they be an in-house brand for them?
They might be because I couldn't find it anywhere else. So I think that these are under $100 right now on sale. I like the color. It feels very versatile. Feels very transitional as well heading into fall. So I like these. And then I did pull trig this past week on a pair of just like the kind of elastic waist chino short from the are you ready, Randy? Ame Leon Dorsale.
Thank you for bringing this up.
Yes.
I was on there yesterday. I got the email. I was sitting in the parking lot of a grocery store here in Austin, and I saw the email, and I was like,
You're
well,
already screwed.
I was
You're
like,
already screwed.
yeah, I was like, if I could go on right now and see, and
You need a desktop, you needed time, you needed
But
your credit card
no.
out.
If anything, though, I deserve a round of applause because I almost bought a pair of shorts. I almost did. Until I reminded.
Did they have a 14-inch inseam?
No, then I didn't because I was like, this inseam needs to be double, if not triple, what it currently is. No, I didn't do it because every single time I buy a pair of bottoms from ALD, I either have to send them back or I have to get them tailored into oblivion, and I spend $1 million on it. And so I'm just simply not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm very worried about getting kicked off the early access emails at this point. I have not been purchasing enough from them, and they're going to kick me off. And I don't think I'm going to get back on.
You purchased something this season, at least one thing. 2 things. 2 sweaters.
Yeah, the sweater money can get you there.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
If you purchase one sweater, I think that qualifies you for the early access.
Yeah,
emails.
I will go ahead and alert you that my other grab there was the exact same in the exact same color washed crew neck that you did buy earlier in the season and got great wear out of. So I had to get you back for the Todd Snyder shorts.
I have to admit that it does hurt knowing not that you got the same thing as me. That's not what hurts. What hurts is knowing the price that you got.
No, do not. You can't say that though.
It hurts.
It shouldn't, because you've gotten mad wear out of that.
But what kills me too.
At least one fit pick.
Talk me through the mentality of this, Barrett. Talk me through the mentality of this. How does it feel to go on ALD and see something that's on sale where everything else is like sold out in the size that I have? Does that mean that I'm missing? Like, am I just not?
If it makes you feel better, there were at least 2 items that I had purchased from earlier in the season at full retail price. There were also just like the straggler sitters that weren't selling out immediately, and you're right. That feels a little
hurt.
That hurts a little bit. It hurts your feeling. It's like, damn, like I really liked this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good, like it just bums me out. And
yeah. Like the striped shorts that I bought,
were they on
impulse
sale
purchased in New York, on sale, full size run, still sitting there today. So that didn't feel great, but I've worn them a bunch of times. And so that's what I'm saying. That's what we have to take solace in, is if it was a jacket that had literally been sitting in the closet for the last 4 months because you bought it in March and it was like 90 degrees already, and now it's on sale in a full size run, that feels bad. That's not great. That's not smart shopping on our part. But if we bought stuff that we got wear out of over the last several months of having these items, then we did our job.
I didn't think I'd get anywhere out of a sweater in the middle of a Texas summer, but I have surprisingly worn that thing a lot outside of Texas, and I've been very happy with the purchase. I did wash it recently; it shrunk a little bit, but I think it will. It stretches out like a lot. So, congratulations on the cop, Barrett. Maybe you can get those shorts that I cucked from you, and you and I can just put on some matching fits and hit the town.
I don't hate that.
Get some sushi rice washed martinis with the boys. Can we talk about one last thing before we get to our wish list items?
Of course we can.
And this is not a wish list item of mine. It was more of a surprise this morning when I saw it on the Instagram story. It's the Stone Island New Balance collaboration. I've been kicking myself for not getting their last collaboration, which was a very fratastic silhouette of just their a normal New Balance that you'd see. So when I saw that they were collabing again, I was like, oh, I have to keep my eyes out for this. And when I saw what they launched today, I was very surprised. For $250, you can own this pair of shoes that is much more sporty than anything I could have come up with. Was I just an idiot and just didn't see this on the horizon, Barrett? Or is this a little more out of the norm than what you would have considered happening from New Balance and Stone Island?
So the big difference with the last collaboration that you just mentioned was that they sold out very quickly, and there was genuine hype around them, and they were not like an easy get.
Yeah.
They've done many collaborations that are actually more in line with this.
Okay.
That do skew a little bit more into the techie, gorpy, shinier fabrics
Yeah.
and like kind of almost like activewear purposes that you kind of know and love Stone Island for.
Yeah.
Right. And so while I like the way that these look, they fit into a weird zone that I have a hard time with, even with like the Asics right now that are so big, right? Specifically the Gel Cayano 14s, but even some of the other silhouettes. Like I want a pair, like I understand the look, like I like them, and then I think about how I would wear them, and it's like it feels very narrow cast. You know what I mean? Like the only way I'm doing it is like in an outfit like I have on today, which is basically shorts and a t-shirt, right? But I some of these sportier silhouettes, some of these runners, whether they're super modern like these or like the more like early 2000 styles, I don't like putting those with like jeans or khakis. Like it feels too daddish to me.
I
And
agree.
It's not something that I'm really wrapping my arms around right now.
Sneakers for me have become something that I need to have multi-purpose use out of them. I need to be able to wear them in a million different situations, and if I can't, then it's kind of a wasted cost for me. And these are so like I don't want to say modern, but they're just so
no, they are. They're very modern. They're very performance forward. You know,
what would you call the? How would you describe the fabric on the more colorful ones?
am I missing the more colorful ones?
Just
here?
like the ones on the left that you have their
yeah.
mouse over right now.
Yeah, it's like I mean, it's
I'm seeing more and more of this like combination, this like knit
and mesh. It's like a knit mesh.
I kind of like it.
That's kind of how I would describe it.
I recently saw. Do you know who do you ever follow Sugarloaf Golf on Instagram?
I'm familiar, but I don't think I follow them.
They have currently some head covers that kind of have a similar vibe to this, and I really, really like them.
Kind of like Flyknit, like Nike Flyknit.
Yeah,
is what
they're kind of expensive, but it's the same kind of color, and I really like it. And I was at a restaurant the other day, and this waitress came over to. I don't even think she was a waitress. I think she was just like a manager at the restaurant. She came over to grab a glass off of our table, and her dress looked so much like the head cover that I almost said, like, "Where'd you get that fabric? Like, what's going on right now?" But
did you reach over and give it a little Seinfeld? Seinfeld.
This feels like my golf. This feels like something in my golf bag.
Rub in between your fingers. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I am kind of into it, but yeah, this is just a little too forward.
Yeah,
for me.
they are cool looking. And now that I've zoomed in, we should also note the Solomon effect here on the pull tight lace system rather than traditional laces. This is that little plastic knobby that just like slides down to tighten.
Totally okay with this if this decides to take off and every single shoe company decides to start doing it.
Of wearing Solomons is the ease of
I had a pair of
on and off nature.
I had a pair of my only pair of Solomons I've ever had were before Solomons were cool. It was back in the day where like we just went to the outdoor store and
REI, Whole Earth,
just went there and I was like, oh, these look like something I would need. And my mom was like, oh yeah, these are cheaper than the other options. We can do that. It's wish list time, baby.
Okay.
I have to admit that I have several things on my wish list.
Yeah. Do you want to start?
None of them are fashion related, or one of them's fashion related. The other things are just simply not fashion related. I can start.
I'll start. I'm dropping something for me, but also something for the homies out there. Because I famously like to put $600 pairs of sneakers on this list, or other outrageous purchases, and so I'm zagging today, and I'm purchasing something that everybody can cop. I'm looking for a very versatile black jacket.
Okay.
This fall winter. There's something that was missing from my wardrobe as I was putting together outfits last year. I didn't have something like black, simple, not too heavy, just like a good grab and go coat, but it needed to be black. So enter this Uniqlo version, the utility short blouson, which has a nice kind of cropped boxy feel, but also is giving Barber Badale.
It is.
Is it not?
It is.
It comes in 3 colors. One of them is black. It also comes in a brown and an olive, which definitely lean more into that like more British kind of hunting territory. But the black looks the most modern to me. That's what I'm after. And so this is a nice little, getting ready for transition weather and fall for $80 from Uniqlo. It's probably going to feel pretty good. This is just it's very universal, just something that everybody can put on their wish list, I think.
You better cop before the masses get a lead on this from you and they just sell out your size.
It's possible. That is possible.
Yeah. I don't know what to lead with. I got 3 things I need, only one of which we have a link to.
'Kay.
I'll start with the link. The first thing I'm gonna put on my list today, I'm trying to get away from buying stuff for clothes. I'm trying to wait until the weather actually starts turning in order to buy some
I
stuff.
know.
I just I don't wanna buy something and then have it turn sour by the time we get to the cold weather. So I'm really trying to just allocate my fun money towards not clothing. So right now I'm going to allocate it towards some turntable accessories. You and I have been talking a lot about vinyl stuff. We've been dabbling a little bit. We've been doing stuff. I've got 2 things I want here. I don't think either of them are necessities for anyone in the turntable game, but I do think that there are 2 things that can upgrade my experience. And here at Retail Therapy, we're always just trying to get the best experience out of the things we got. The first thing that I want at the bottom of this page, Barrett, is the cork mat. Reduce a little static, reduce a little just anything. Apparently, it's a nice upgrade from the felt. So I'm going to get that $20 cork mat, and I'm going to pair it with that $59 record weight right above it. The record weight is just kind of a clamp that kind of screws your record down, makes it a little more stable. And while it seems like a little bit of an inconvenience, I do have some records that maybe aren't.
This goes on the center, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it's an evenly distributed weight, so it doesn't like throw anything off, and it should just be good. And given that these 2 products are from where I actually got my turntable from, U-Turn, I think those are 2 things that I'm going to dabble with. It seems like a very good way to spend $80 as far as my money goes, and as far as my interests go now.
Well, again, what you're also highlighting and illuminating here is just how dangerous this entire vinyl game is.
Dangerous.
Because there's innumerable things like this that you can do and tweak and upgrade. And who doesn't love tweaking with their hobbies?
Dude, it's the best. It's the best.
Or buying a new little this or a new little that.
Exactly. That's why I've taken to this so much. It's because it's like, well, I could buy this new record, or I could get the vintage one, and I could go searching for it. Oh, they have a different pressing of this one. They have a special edition pressing of this one. And it's like, that kind of stuff is what I need in order to get in. I like the tinkering. I like the research of it. I like the comparisons. I like people getting obsessively like nerdy about these kind of things.
Yeah.
And one of the things I love about U-Turn is that all their stuff is just like, it's very aesthetically pleasing. It's good looking. And I like that about them. And it just makes me want to keep supporting them. Yeah. And I have to admit, like, the performance I've had from their turntable and the service I've gotten from them with any issues that I've had has been A+. And I will never complain about them unless they just completely screw me somehow, which I don't think they're going to do.
Shouts to U-Turn.
I have 2 other things I'm going to add to the list, both of which are a little more, one of which I just will refuse to give a link to because I cannot have this sell out before I get it.
That's smart.
And the other one, which I'll name first, is just something that I haven't made a decision on. I posted it to Instagram. It's my most recent post on Instagram, and it's a photo of Sally and I from the Dead concert that we went to. I switched tickets with someone in the crowd, and she produces a lot of things online for the Grateful Dead. She does merch, T-shirts. She does prints. Her name's Jocelyn Kowalski. She's probably my favorite person that does this kind of vending around the shows. And she wanted floor seats, and I wanted some seats. And given that my wife is pregnant and I wasn't originally planning on going with her, I had floor seats, and so I offered a trade. And we decided to meet up at the concert, and she took a photo of us with her kind of old school film camera.
Nice.
And what I would like to do is frame that. I don't want a giant frame that goes on the wall. I just want like a nice little desk frame. And so I'm currently in the market for an upscale desk picture frame.
Okay.
I don't know where I'm going to get that from.
Have you heard of Hobby Lobby?
Here's the thing. Hobby Lobby.
I'm kidding.
Hobby Lobby has moved. I'm not happy about it.
They have, yeah.
They're really far away.
The big one is not there anymore.
Yeah, it's just really far away, and that is going to stop me from ever going there. No, so I just need to find something I like so I can get it professionally printed and done. I was very happy that she does that. I do see my next once the vinyl stuff cools down, I do see maybe some camera stuff in my crosshairs, which is a dangerous game to play.
Yeah, you're really just you're just collecting the dangerous hobbies.
I'm trying to set money on fire.
Yeah.
Whatever takes away from my clothing purchases is probably a good thing. The final thing that I'm getting is I told you about this at dinner the other night, Barrett. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and I even put it on my wish list last year, but I never actually did it. But I've finally established the year, the style, and the size of the vintage Dead shirt that I would really like to get, and I'm going to buy it. There's only one in stock in the quality that I want, and so I will not put out a link to that. My goal, I'm going on vacation tomorrow, going up to Michigan to see my parents. The goal is to get drunk one night and purchase it.
Okay, all
so
right.
I've had the tab open on my Safari for the last week, and I'm just waiting to get a couple cocktails deep and be like, you know what? Screw it.
You're gonna have to go white Negroni. No Americano though.
It's
The
true.
Americano, you're gonna stay too reasonable and rational.
True.
Yeah.
It's true. But I'm staying with my parents the entire time I'm up there. So I mean, like, it's pretty much
true.
like it's like a night at the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those white Negronis. I on the advice of the internet, I've been making them with more pronunciation issue. Nolets gin, N-O-L-E-T, comes in a nice dark green bottle. It's 90 proof though. You know, it's got that extra kick to it. And I'm telling you what, man,
That ain't low ABV, my man.
No, it is not. And one of them just kind of like in this heat really kind of sets me off. So I gotta be careful out there.
Yeah, Bear, that's like 2 of my Americanos.
Yeah, otherwise I'm gonna be,
gotta relax, my dude.
buying Grateful Dead t-shirts online any minute now.
You should.
Yeah.
If you get one that's a little too big, just holler at your boy, and I will take it off your hands.
Okay.
I might even do a trade with you for a certain
Pair of
Amélion d'Or, Randy. Thank you. Sweater that we both own that you haven't received yet. Do they do returns for their sale?
No, they do not.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I will not be clicking on that link anymore. All right, that's all I got.
We'll talk to you soon.
Next week, programming note. Hopefully the listener digest comes out on Sunday this week. If it doesn't, I apologize. I am going to be on vacation. Additionally, no episode next week. We will be doing an episode of Retail Therapy in 2 weeks. So just keep an eye out with that. And then we'll probably resume some more normal episodes after that episode of Retail Therapy in a couple weeks. So we'll see you then. Later.